Hello and welcome to the United Stand. A big show planned for you tonight. Some big topics. We'll be talking Pogba, we'll be talking Mourinho, we'll be talking Spurs. We'll also be talking about how you feel as Manchester United fans. Can you bring any positivity into your mind ahead of this Spurs game, or are you the Titanic? Are you already on the way down? But I want to start off first of all because there's so many places I could start off here. But I'm going to start off with Paul Pogba very quickly. Now, Pogba has come out and he's responded in a way to what his agent said 2 days ago. 2 days ago. 2 days ago. That's not right. 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Sorry. 2 days ago, he has reported. We had the Mourinho agent comments about Scholes and selling Pogba. Well, Pogba's done a tweet. And basically, it's a picture of him with some Adidas football boots going shh. And some people, not many to be fair, but some people have said, oh, he's responded like he did after the Man City one. You know, when Pep said that he was offered Pogba and Pogba scored 2 goals and went shh at the end, which basically meant shut up, Pep. Well, he's done it again. He means shush about all the haters and everything like that. Shush means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. If Pogba wants to come out and say that his agent's a disgrace for what he said about Paul Scholes, then he can come out and say that. If Paul Pogba wants to come out and say, I'm staying at Manchester United, I'm really happy, Paul Pogba can come out and say that. Shush, it don't wash the medicine with me. It doesn't. I'm not interested in shush. Shush can sit down. You know, I'm really not interested in shush. I don't even know what shush means. Maybe he's saying shush to everyone having a go at him for sticking by his agent. You know, shush means nothing. And I think this is the modern day footballer for you. When I was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, fans were the lifeblood of football. Like, footballers earned decent money and they were the stars, but they loved the fans. I remember Gaza coming back from Italia 90 and he embraced the fans, he loved the fans, but the fans were the people. They knew footballers knew the fans were the power base. These days, we're treated like bloody Punch and Judy, a couple of muppets. You know, or puppets. I don't want to get, you know, there's definitely, if you want to know, there's a definite difference between a muppet and a puppet. Yeah, you know, I don't want to go down that road. We'll be here all night. But we are treated like mugs, fans. And thank God there are a lot of intelligent people out there who jump all over this and say, no, you know, this is not acceptable. You earn a lot of money because of us. We don't put you there. Your talent puts you there. But don't start thinking a picture with shush on it is going to sit everybody down. And I think that's what Pogba's done here. I think he's thought, I know, I don't want to deny. I don't want to make my agent look stupid. I don't want to say I want to stay at the club because I really do want to go to Barcelona. But I know a picture with me going like that on it, that'll kill it dead. Well, it hasn't. It hasn't killed it dead because everybody's jumped on it saying, you know, get out of my club, you're arrogant, this, that and the other. Too far as I'm concerned. I don't want Pogba to leave Manchester United. What I do want him to do is, look, if I want somebody to win a dance competition, I'll get Paul Pogba. You know, the bling boy. And he can bring Lingard and Rashford with him, the bling boys. Because Pogba, and the reason the title of the show today, I was going to call it Mourinho's last chance, but I've called it Mourinho's last Pogba chance because Paul Pogba is intrinsic to the future of Manchester United. Whether we like it or not, Paul Pogba runs the dressing room. And maybe we're seeing a change in Mourinho, which I want to talk about in a minute, because Paul Pogba runs the dressing room. Pogba's got Lingard, Lukaku, Rashford, Martial, probably Bailly, definitely under his thumb. You know, he runs that dressing room. That's not a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think Pogba and his bling boys are a good thing. I think Pogba shouldn't be running the dressing room because I think Pogba is what's wrong with football in general. He's this big character who's just loving the fame and I've got nothing against it. I've got a problem with Pogba. I want Pogba to turn it round. But is he what we want as the focal point at Manchester United? Is he what we want at Manchester United at the moment? I don't think he is. I want Pogba at Manchester United. I don't want him to be the focal point. And I think the way he portrays himself on what has been a very, very sensitive week for some Manchester United fans is quite frankly shocking and misguided. And again, massively arrogantly naive. His performance against Brighton on Sunday, I've given Fellaini a lot of stick, and Fellaini's not a very good footballer. I've never seen Fellaini put in a performance as bad as what Pogba did against Brighton. For my sins, and there was a lot of fast forwarding, I watched the Brighton game on Monday again, just to get a grasp of the tactics and to see how it went. And his performance was absolutely one of the worst midfield performances I've ever seen in a Manchester United shirt. It was diabolical. Every time he got it, he got knocked after the ball. It was so bad, Stevie Wonder was crying afterwards. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Really, really bad. Andy was the captain, which compounds it even more. So, if I can say one good thing about Fellaini, I've never seen him play that bad in a Manchester United shirt. So Pogba's got a lot to do this week. And what he said after the game was quite honest, attitudes, but in some ways it was totally wrong as well. But yeah, you know what? I can't wait for Monday. And this brings me on to my next thing. I don't know. Put your hand up if you agree with me this. I sort of go, and I'm going to put my hand up to this. I go through a cycle as a Manchester United fan whereby we lose to Brighton and I'm like, get Mourinho out. He's rubbish. He's absolutely rubbish. I'm not Cockney. Get Mourinho out. He's absolutely rubbish. Get him out of my club. I don't want him. The players are a disgrace. The board are a disgrace. Get out. Get out. Monday, I'm still like, oh, look at the tactics. Look at what he did. We didn't pay it forward. It wasn't Martial's fault. Tuesday, oh, you know what? I'm fed up with all these stats now. It's getting stupid. Wednesday, it's not long till Tottenham. It's nearly the weekend. Thursday, Tottenham fans are piping up. Shut up, Tottenham fans. Sit down. I'm a Manchester United fan. I want Manchester United to win. Come on, United. Let's go for it. So by Monday, I'm like, come on. Let's do it. They're going to respond. This, that and the other. You know what? It is the cycle of hypocrisy, but it's the cycle of a football fan. And I think we all fall into that trap. That absolutely, when we lose a game, it's the end of the world. I'm furious. But we love the club. It's not hypocrisy. George Kyle's calling people flip-flops for it. It's not that. I think what happens is you could stay unhappy with the team and the players and the manager for a long time. But what starts to kick in is the rivalry bug in your head where Spurs fans are giving a little niggle. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, all having a little nibble. And it gets to the point where for the first few bits where they're bantering, you're like, yes, come on. Even Liverpool fans are having a go. That's how bad we are. But after 2 or 3 days of it, you start to think, who are you to have a pop at my club? That's what you feel like. So I'm like falling into... And I wanted to ask you a lot about this, and we're going to get into it in a few minutes' time, about... How much positivity have you got left in your bucket of... I don't like the word bucket. How much positivity have you got left? Is this irreparable for you now, or can this be turned around? Because I tell you what, an interesting thing here. You won't listen to this on Sky or BT. Their researchers won't be thinking about this yet. But if we beat Spurs at home on Monday, which we normally do, we've then got Burnley away, which I think is a tougher game. But Burnley, I think, will be playing their Europa League, because they're playing right now. They'll be playing their Europa League second game on Thursday, which means they've got to play us on the Sunday. Well, we know Thursday, Sunday is not great prep when we've had a week off. So that could play into our hands really well as well. So that could be 6 points. Then we've got, then we're into the international break. So, it's not the best start, but there's something to be a little bit positive about there. But how do you feel? Is there any bits of positivity in you at the moment? Do you go through that circle? Manchester Skulls 18 says, come on, it's not a one-off of us out there, of us in the out crowd. I've thought this for ages now about Jose. We aren't flip-flopping, unlike some people. No, I do agree with you, Manchester Skulls 18. I hope you're not calling me a flip-flop, by the way. I do respect your comments, and you do get read out quite a lot because you do talk a lot of sense, to be fair to you. But no, I totally understand why a lot of people are Mourinho out, and you've got every right to be. 2 years. All I would say is that and I'm going to bring this in, actually, we'll bring this in now. The Guardian said this yesterday. They had quite a good article on Ed Woodward about his background, how fundamental he was in the purchase of Manchester United for the Glazers, and they rewarded him, etc., etc. But there was a very good line in there right at the end, which was something along the lines of, don't for 1 minute think that if United go into freefall, he won't pull the plug on Mourinho very, very quickly. The rumours around the club at the moment is that the club back Mourinho and they feel he can turn it around, and Mourinho doesn't want to walk away, but the relations are strained. The club didn't want to back Mourinho with his targets. Mainly because they felt, well, you bought Bayer, you bought Lindelof, they're your signings, and now you want another centre-back. And also the centre-backs that you want, are they really better than what we've got? Whether that judgment's right or wrong, the club went against Mourinho. So Mourinho will feel he hasn't been backed there. It's an interesting dynamic at United, but ultimately we will be judged on results. I can't tell you. A lot of people say to me, well, what will force the club to sack Mourinho and what will make you Mourinho out? Look, I know for a fact we've got Spurs and Burnley. Then we've got West Ham, Wolves and one other team before the next international break. If we lose 3 of those games, I think I would have to say we're in a lot of trouble there. I think the club... I don't know with Mourinho. I personally think that the fans will have a big say on this, because it's all right the club saying we back Mourinho, and it's all right Mourinho saying I'm not going to go. But imagine the scenario: you lose to Spurs badly at Old Trafford, you don't beat Burnley, you get beat by Watford, you come against Wolves and you draw. Can you imagine the toxic environment at Old Trafford then? The club can say we're backing him. Mourinho can say I'm staying, but the one thing the press aren't really going to report on, quite rightly, is how will the fans deal with it? Because if you are a fan who's fed up with it after 2 years, then maybe you come in and have your say. I don't know, but I suppose flip it on its head. What if Manchester United were to win the next 3 games? We beat Spurs, we beat Burnley, we beat Watford, then we beat Wolves, win the next 4 games. All right, we've dropped 3 points, but we're only ever going to be 3 points off the top. That's the thing. Losing against Brighton's bad, but it is only 3 points. In the context of everything, if we won every single game now, between now and the end of the season, stand with me, and then, for anyone else to win the league, they'd have to win every single game. So I think people's fear is that we know what's going to happen. And at that point, I will bring this in. This is something I saw today, and I don't know whether you've seen it or not. I mean, it is abysmal. It is absolutely abysmal. I can't lie about this. And let's not forget, to add a little bit more context, this is 2 games against Leicester City at home, Old Trafford, under the lights that Friday night. Old Trafford, Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford, exciting football. So one was against Old Trafford and one was against Brighton. One was against Leicester at Old Trafford, one was against Brighton, who are, let's be honest, crap. So, 2 games, and this is where we rank across the whole 20 teams. Average possession, 55%. That puts us 6th in the league. Attempts on goal, 17, which puts us 17th in the league, considering, Arsenal are ahead of us and they've played Chelsea and City. We've only played Leicester and Brighton. We're 17th in the league for shots on goal. Touches in the opposition box, that's nothing to do with anything sinister. This is about football. 25, which puts us 18th for touches in the opposition's box. Percentage of touches in the opposition box, 1.7%, which puts us bottom of the league. And this is the worst of the lot. Time spent in the final third, 20%. 20th in the league. Bottom of the league for time spent in the final third. And I don't have the stats, but I categorically would say this to you as well. If we're spending so little time in the opposition's half and we're spending so little time creating chances, as we had that stat in January, I would hazard a guess we're not far off the bottom of the league for distance covered again. Nothing is changing in the way that we're playing football. That's the problem. We're not changing the way that we're playing. We're still boring. We're still lazy. We're still not creating chances. This is where everybody's going, I'm not Mourinho out because of 2 games. I'm Mourinho out because of the way that he plays football. It's not good enough. Mark would trade back Pogba to Juventus for Pjanic, says Carlos Soto. No, look, I wouldn't trade Paul Pogba back for anybody. Paul Pogba, I believe, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Spurs, as I said on my channel earlier, and that video has caused a lot of problems. If you've not watched it, Mark Goldbridge channel, you can watch it after here. They would all take Paul Pogba in their team. They can lie and say, I wouldn't take Paul Pogba in my team because he's rubbish. But he wasn't rubbish for France. He wasn't rubbish for Juventus. He's rubbish in this system. The same as Martial's rubbish in this system. The same as Mata Herrera are rubbish in this system. There's a lot of players that are rubbish in this system that if you put them into another system, they'd be very, very good. They're still good players. And as I said this afternoon, you put Mo Salah in our team, he would be rubbish. He would. Mo Salah wouldn't be good in a United shirt. Liverpool fans go, oh, we wouldn't take any of your players. But if we took any of your players, they'd suddenly be rubbish because you can't be effective with those stats. Bottom of the league for having the ball in the final third. What's Ronaldo, Messi, Bale, Salah? What are they going to do in a United shirt when the football's so pragmatically conservative? It's a problem, and it's a big problem, and it's one that will continue to reverberate around our club. I mean, I'm not doing the Spurs preview probably till Saturday morning, but I suspect United will do what United do. We will go against Spurs. The crowd will be up for it. They'll respond to the crowd. We'll win the game 1 or 2-0, and everyone will go, it's just a blip. And then we'll go and lose at Burnley or West Ham, because that's what we do. Southgate to manage Manchester United, says Cameron Groom. I mean, I wouldn't want Southgate anywhere near a Manchester United shirt, to be honest with you. But he is the sort of play, at least he'd have a system. And you know what? The prime example of this as well is that I was quite passionate about this afternoon on my channel. I think we must remember that whilst we can be critical of the players, let's not start calling our players crap. You know, we've got some very, very good players at Manchester United, and they are looking like bad players because of the system that we play. You cannot be, and if you're a flair player at Manchester United, you may as well get yourself into one of them Harry Houdini bloody suits where he gets himself all tied up, jump in a barrel, nail it down and chuck yourself into the river, because that's about as useful as you're going to be in this system. It doesn't matter how good a player you are in this system. If you're a flair player, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed in this system. So we've got some really good players. We're just not getting the best out of them in the system we play. But I saw something from, I think it was an Opta stat. I don't know who put it out. Maybe it was the Premier League, about if you have a shot against David De Gea in the last few games, you've got a 70% chance of it going in the back of the net. And I thought, what is this about then? Is this trying to say that David De Gea is suddenly a crap goalkeeper? Is this the Manchester United agenda kicking in again? David De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world. I see it every week. Even against Leicester, he made 2 world-class saves. I mean, against Brighton, everybody played shit. And I gave De Gea 4 out of 10. It was a bad game for De Gea. But he's the best goalkeeper in the world. People want to rewrite history. I mean, I'm fortunate enough, I suppose, that I remember the Premier League inception. I remember the first day to today. I know, like a lot of you lot will know, I know who the great Premier League players are. I know who the best goalkeepers are in the Premier League, and David De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. But look, I heard something today. Just this. I mean, we're talking about De Gea here, but this is like, it's like, where's that line? I was on about this on my channel as well. Where's the line? Apparently Liverpool are a better team than Manchester United now. What? Because of 2 games? We finished above them in the league last year. Where's the line? Are we doing it by the hour, by the minute, by the season, by the month? Where's the line? Where do you say that? Where does one team become better than another? Because Brighton are better than us at the moment, but they're not. They're not. Brighton can have the 3 points, but they're not going to finish above us. You should be judged on the end of the season. That's where you should be judged. Obviously, if results are going terribly bad, you get rid of the manager. But there's this suddenly Pogba's crap again, and Xhaka's better than him, and Lovren's better than Bailly because Bailly had 1 bad game against Brighton. It's like George Carl says, it's so flip-flop. I saw somebody, I've tweeted this out as well, so I'll say it on here, apologies, but there was some poll on Twitter earlier about who's been the better Premier League player, Hazard or Rooney. Well, unless you dropped out your mum's chuff in 2008, Rooney's probably one of the best players in the Premier League history. If you're judging Rooney over the last 3 or 4 years against Hazard, fine, fair enough. The Premier League started back in the early 90s. Rooney's been playing in it most of his career, all of his career. Rooney's one of the best players in Premier League history. Eden Hazard doesn't even come close. But you get these plonkers, modern day fans, saying nonsense. Don't talk about something you don't know anything about, is what I'm trying to say. And David De Gea may have had a very bad game against Brighton and a very bad World Cup. But David De Gea has been playing football for, 10 years? And 2 games doesn't rub out why he's the best goalkeeper in the world. Mourinho's tactics doesn't rub out why Anthony Martial can be one of the best players in the world. And this brings me to my next point. Loving the discussion, says Mustafa. Yesterday's show was brilliant. Thanks for that. Manchester United Business Club says United should spend big next summer, regardless who is manager, because of lack of signings this summer. I hope Jose gets fired before New Year, so next manager gets some time with the players before summer. Look, we've got Jose Mourinho as manager at the moment. Please do drop a like on the video, everybody. We're going to be live for a little bit longer, quite a bit longer actually. But look, if Mourinho left Manchester United, I would be excited, because I think the big thing United need to do for me. We've had Moyes, we've had Van Gaal, we've had Mourinho. That's 3 managers in quite a short period of time. But what we haven't had is a team to be proud of. And I would like a manager to come in with a playing style. It might not work. But I would like to have something that we can cling on to. At the moment, we've got Jose. I don't think Jose is going to do it. He's still, I'll talk about this in the preview, but I said this in the summer, and I am Mourinho in, as some people know, at the moment, but you probably can't find a more critical person of Marouane Fellaini, and I was disgusted that we kept him. I'm sorry. For all those stats about we're bottom of the league for chances in the final third, this, that and the other, we must be the only team in the Premier League that plays hoofball. I mean, if someone can get in the live comments and tell me a team in the Premier League that plays hoofball, I can't think of one. I can't. We are the only team that plays hoofball. and we are the best team in the world, biggest team in England, and we're playing hoofball. That's a stat for you, made up by me, but I can't think of anybody else. But it's... Look, I want to take a few comments, and then there's a really good topic I want to get into, but I do want to take some comments. And what I also want you to throw into the comments as well is where are you on the page now? Because where I am, I'll be honest with you, is I'm worried. The Brighton result really burst my bubble. I was feeling positive. I think Jose Mourinho was saying some really positive things. And that Brighton result was just like everything that happened last season. There's no change, and it really, really impacted and it really affected me. Where I am now is I think we'll beat Spurs. If we don't beat Spurs, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'm in my mind I'm like, we're going to beat Spurs, and then it's Burnley and Watford are the real tests. But I think Jose's hanging by a thread, to be honest with you. I think he really is. I knew the reaction after the Brighton result was going to be bad, because I've always said he's one result away. But one thing that concerns me a little bit, and I'll bring this in before some of your live comments, is that very, very quickly, where I think this is going is that with me and Mourinho at the moment, I think it's too early to sack him, because I know the club won't. But if he loses 2 or 3 games between now and the end of September, he's got to go. Whether the club will let him go, I don't know. But that, in my mind, he's got to go, because that would be unforgivable in his 3rd season. And that's why it's unforgivable, because it's year 3 now. And second last season, we've had progress every year with Jose. Well, if he loses another 3 games before the end of September, we ain't getting second. So that's telegraphed to Ed Woodward. This is regression. Get rid of him quick. Get somebody else in. But what also worried me as well is we were all, Jose's been really positive. He's like really positive. He's been really positive about Pogba, Martial, Luke Shaw. He's been positive in press conferences. I was thinking about this today. Well, actually, I read it on a tweet, so I'm not going to take credit. Somebody said, has anyone considered that Mourinho's sudden niceness to everybody is because he's fucked? You know, it's because he's messed up. He can't be the arrogant, negative arsehole slating everybody anymore, because he's lost the dressing room and he's lost the respect of the players, and he hasn't been backed by the board, and he hasn't been able to sell the players that he wanted to get out of the club, like Martial. They're still here. They're still got mates in the dressing room, and he's in trouble. So his only thing is, because he knows what happened at Chelsea, he's now trying to be nice. But that means he's not Mourinho, and he's lost himself. I don't know what people think about that. What's the obsession with Pogba? I don't understand, says Josie Tutu. Well, he's our most expensive player. On his day, he's our best player. And it's all up in the air, isn't it? Because of him and his stupid agent's comments. Okay, we don't need more, Mohammed. That's not helpful. Jose positivity has been an act, says Ali B. Paul. The board have told him where to go. Has to change, says Nish. Liverpool will smash Brighton, says Justin. Oh, you know what? We don't play till Monday, but we've got to endure Saturday, where Brighton's next game is Liverpool at Anfield. You know what's going to happen. They'll absolutely smash them, and then that'll be another reason for them to come at us, and they'll be 6 point clear of us before we play. Too late to be nice for Jose, says Gazel Cesar. Why is everyone giving hate to Pogba, says Saj Gamer? Well, look, people in the live comments can let him know about that. I don't hate Pogba. I just want Pogba to come out and be what he's meant to be, a Manchester United player. And if you are a Manchester United player and you understand what Manchester United's all about, then he needs to come out and give us some positive vibes. Little shushes don't work. And what happens when Martial doesn't like the next manager, says Mark Davis? Mark, I think it's your opinion, mate. It's your opinion, but I think that I don't know Anthony Martial, and maybe that's a valid point, and maybe you could say it about people like Paul Pogba as well. But I think it goes back to what I've said many a time, that Anthony Martial came back this time last year after a bad season under Mourinho, worked his socks off, started on the bench, came off the bench, was getting goals and assists, got in the first team, was getting goals and assists, had been player of the month 3 times out of 6 up until January. And then we bought Sanchez and he benched him. I think Martial has very good reason to dislike Mourinho because he'd done nothing wrong last season. He'd even scored the winning goal against Burnley the week before we bought Sanchez and then got dropped or moved to the right wing. So Mourinho's treatment of Martial is up there with the stupidity of keeping Fellaini. Mourinho's made some big mistakes and I can't defend him on that. Jose was the best that didn't happen to Barcelona thanks to Pep, says Bean Ricky. The defenders we have aren't cutting the mustard, and the attack is nothing that Jose bought, says Louis Jean. Oh, that is bit of bean skin. I don't think Pogba is the massive issue. It's his agent that's causing issues. He's trying to get a payout for Jan. Think of the fee his agent will get if he moves, says Damien Legg. Well, yeah, you might be right, Damien, but Pogba's a big boy. Mino Raiola is nothing without clients. If Pogba sacked Raiola and then the rest of Raiola's clients thought, you know what, I'm getting rid of him as well, Mino Raiola just becomes a very rich, overweight ex-agent with no power. Pogba and Raiola are very, very close. And what sickens me about Pogba, and I must admit what somebody said last night, Mourinho has said negative things about Scholes as well, and they were bang out of order. But Pogba knows Raiola's said that about Scholes, and they'll have discussed it, and Pogba will have been okay with it. But the appalling thing is, everything Scholes has said, you lot have said. Pogba only plays one good game in 4. Scholes didn't say that Pogba wasn't a good leader. Scholes, go and find it yourself. Scholes actually said, I would have given Pogba the captaincy when we signed him. So Raiola's even wrong there. I don't know whether he's mixing up his class of 92. I don't know. Dylan's right. I can't read it out. He basically says Raiola is something that reminds with kick. Mark, we got Sanchez due to board for commercial things and he is not really Jose's signing, says Akarariel. I heard something totally different. I heard that the board were not happy with Alexis Sanchez signing because of the fee in relation to his wages and his age. So you hear different things, don't you? I mean, some of the rumours that have been floating around that you might be interested in is that Mourinho's on the brink and he very rarely talks to any of the players in the dressing room and he leaves the players to talk to themselves. I don't think any of that's true. I've never seen such a team that's, I think if the players were in charge, they wouldn't be playing the way they are. It's clearly Mourinho's tactics. I mean, I feel sorry for someone like Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick, in his prime, as many of you will know, sitting in front of the back 4, could play a 40-yard pass along the ground that was pinpoint and create things. And we're not doing that. And Carrick would move the ball quickly. And Carrick was part of United teams that hit teams on the break. So Michael Carrick must just be sat there thinking, what the hell am I doing here? I mean, it's great that I'm staying at Manchester United, but I'm going to have this on my CV. Mourinho's right man, and this is at the right hand man. It's only going to go one way. I don't care what nobody is saying. Mourinho has to go, says Alliance Boss. I'm so depressed, says Pankaj. A man like Mad Marcus is back. Whether he would or wouldn't doesn't matter now, Chris. He'll be sacked and will turn into Liverpool or Arsenal at best, says Louis _. I've always been Jose in, but he has been a massive disappointment, says Alicia. He's not the person I've admired for so many years. I'll be Jose in until he leaves, but he needs to leave soon. I think a lot of people feel like that. Sanchez and Shaw are out injured. Is the latest update, but Valencia and Matic are back, says Vengi Simmons. I think Sanchez will be back for Monday. I hadn't heard about Luke Shaw. We'll have Jose Mourinho is doing his press conference tomorrow at 2 o'clock UK time. So we always go live straight after that. So I'll be live at about 2:10 tomorrow with Jose Mourinho's reaction. I would hope that somebody will ask him a little bit about Pogba, but also I think it will be a very interesting reaction anyway to see what he's got to say. I don't think we'll see Mourinho out banners at Old Trafford, Justin, and I'd be very disappointed if they were, for what that means. Can we play Martial as an attacking midfielder, says Kishore. I think Martial's best position is left midfielder and he doesn't want him to play him there. 20 times is what's happened to McTominay. Well, he's still on the bench. Did Pogba actually do anything wrong, though, says Sufyan Khan. Well, silence is golden, isn't it? And silence speaks 1,000 words. I think at the end of the day, in football, your agent speaks for you. Martial used his agent to put a message out. If Mino Raiola's only connection to Manchester United is Paul Pogba. When Mino Raiola tweets about Manchester United, mentioning ex-United players, directors of football, Ed Woodward, why is he doing that? He's doing it for his client. Now, is Mino Raiola so arrogantly detached that he would not tell Paul Pogba, I'm about to do this and make your life very difficult? Come on. That's not going to happen. Pogba knows what's happened. Pogba's involved in that until he comes out and denies it. And I'm surprised he hasn't. Mustafa Hamadi, but we don't know how hard Paul Pogba's pushing for a move to Barcelona. There's still time. There's still 8 days until the Spanish transfer window closes. It won't happen, but I think Pogba wants to go to Barcelona. And part of me doesn't actually blame him for that. I just wish he'd tell the truth instead of slating fans and ex-players. Go to Barcelona, easy life, better climate, no Mourinho. You can't knock him for that. It's a sign of the times that we're in. Mustafa Hamada says, if Jose's gone, would you take Carrick as manager? I think he's got no background to take the job, so no. Liam says, the last time we beat a team by 5 goals was Arsenal 8-2 in 2011, and City have done it 23 times since then. Can you believe that? I think I said it myself, Liam, a couple of days ago. You're right. I know you're spot on with that because I did say it myself. But I mean, I saw something today as well that I didn't, Derek, I didn't like the Moyes banner. I didn't like the Moyes plane either. I think you don't need a plane flying over with Moyes out. I mean, Manchester United don't need someone to fly with a plane saying Jose out to know that a lot of United fans want Jose out. Manchester United put tweets out, and nearly every tweet, no matter what they're tweeting about, says get Jose out my club or something worse. Manchester United have got their finger on the pulse. That's why they're one of the best brands in the world. They know about things like positivity ratings and things like that. They know. They'll know exactly what's going on with what fans think of Pogba. They'll know exactly what fans think of Mourinho. You don't need to do something as crass as putting a plane up in the air to say Jose out. All it does is bring embarrassing attention to the club. Arsenal did it with Wenger, and it was embarrassing. We know Arsenal fans wanted Wenger out. You don't need a plane to do it. Have some respect for the club. I don't disagree with people wanting Mourinho out, by the way. I just don't believe we need to have planes. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. And it is a bit comical. But what I was going to say is that, and I tweeted this out this afternoon, so I can take credit for this. You look at what Pep's done at Man City, what Pochettino's done at Spurs. Have they improved the players that they've got? Yes. And you could list off the names of players that they've done it. And we can talk about the tactics, and I could spend 20 minutes with you with the pitch and the pen, and I could go, this is why Manchester United don't move the ball quickly or create chances. We can all do that. But a very simplistic thing I can also do is say, name me Manchester United players that have improved under Jose Mourinho, because I can only name 3. Jesse Lingard's improved under Jose Mourinho, but that could be because Jesse Lingard, like Sir Alex Ferguson said, was always going to be a late developer. And Jesse Lingard could have naturally become good in these last couple of years anyway. So the jury's out on that. Fellaini's improved under Mourinho because Mourinho plays the style of football that suits Fellaini, hoofball, and Fellaini's good at that. So Fellaini's improved because our style of football has gone back to the dark ages. Ashley Young's improved as a left back because, and that's saying something because I don't think he's a very good left back, but he has improved. There's a massive list of players that haven't improved, and then there are some players that I would say are much the same. Now, people might start saying Lukaku's improved. You haven't watched Lukaku at Everton. There's nothing about Lukaku's game that's improved. He was very good at Everton. You could argue he was better at Everton because he was playing in a lesser team and he was getting more ball on the break. Matic is no better than he was at Chelsea. He's done well. Valencia was good under Van Gaal. He's not improved massively. And Jones, Smalling, Rojo, players like that, they are what they are. But there are a list of players that have massively, I believe, declined under Mourinho. And unfortunately, a lot of them are flair players. Pogba's declined. Although Mourinho bought him, he has declined from what he was at Juventus and how he plays for France. Martial's declined, and we've seen that because under Van Gaal he was fantastic. Rashford is a real divider because when I tweeted it, people were like, oh, I don't agree that Rashford's declined. He's just been played out of position. Yeah, that's decline then, isn't he? He's not playing well. He's being played out of position. Who picks him in the different position? So Rashford's declined. When you think about what Rashford was like for England, even still at times, and certainly under Van Gaal at their early days, Rashford's declined, Martial's declined, Pogba's declined, Luke Shaw's definitely declined, Herrera's declined, Mata's declined. You could argue Lindelof and Bailly have declined from the players that they were where they were before. But a lot of our players, Alexis Sanchez has declined, definitely. Alexis Sanchez gets a lot of stick because Alexis Sanchez was brought into the club and that sort of messed up Pogba and Martial because of where he played. But let's be fair to Alexis Sanchez. He has been rubbish. But he's an attacker playing in this system. Name me an attacker in our system that plays well, apart from a month of Jesse Lingard. All our attackers don't play that well. Lukaku only plays well because he scores some goals every now and again. But Sanchez effectively, I think, has declined under Mourinho. And it's not lost on me that most of these players declining are actually our flair players. I mean, Herrera used to play forward passes all the time before Mourinho arrived. Not anymore. So there are a lot of things that when you look at it become quite worrying. Which is why I think the writing's on the wall. But we'll see. Don't blame Alexis, says Common Sense. Funny name as well. We can't play 4 passes together in that attacking half. What is the reason and why, says Kishore Multi? Well, it comes from the manager. It's the tactics that we play. They're not allowed to do it for some reason. Don't forget, Mkhitaryan declined before his transfer. What a good comment that is as well. Jeremy Thompson, there are players that have left as well. So Mkhitaryan, you're right, he did decline. Martial, Pogba, Sanchez, Fred and Pereira in the first 11, says Namula. Herrera was one of the best players, says Alliance Boss. He was. Pogba should train with the kids like Schweinsteiger, says Harshal. What if the board bring in Wenger? That's never going to happen, Kadir. Jose needs to change his style of play, says Michael Jones. Well, I thought he would, but I don't know. He's sucking the life out of the players and the club, says Lee Scamp. I think the next one thing I would say is that, as I said, for those people who've joined a bit late, I said put your hand up if you're like me. After the Brighton game, rubbish, we're rubbish. I hate Mourinho. Get out. Players are crap. This, that, and the other. And then during the week, you start to sort of come, oh bloody, shut up Spurs. We're going to beat you, because the loyalty to United kicks in. And I think by Monday we'll all be going, come on United, because that's what we do. I expect the players to respond because they'll play for the club, they'll play for the fans. But over a 38-game season, they can't do that. They do become lethargic. So I think the Brighton and Watford game are going to be the most interesting ones. But in my mind, I've already sort of said that we're going to beat Spurs. And if we don't beat Spurs, I'll be furious, because I think the one thing Sir Alex Ferguson always said is that United do respond to bad results. And if these players can't respond to that, even though the tactics are crap, take it on yourself and start playing some decent football. I just wonder how much of how it's like Gary Neville says that the dressing room isn't lost, it's happy. Well, that's, as I said last night, that's even more worrying, because if they're not lost and they are happy, what's going on? You can't be happy. You can't be. Would I take Conte to Selwyn Greenwich? No, I don't. What? Apparently the odds have dropped on Conte coming to the club, and I don't get that. I don't get that. I really don't get why we'd want Conte. I don't want him at all at the club, to be honest. It's sideways and boring, says Pankaj. The Glazers don't have the backbone to look at assets like Martial and sell them when they're acting managers, says Louis. It's better to sack Mourinho now rather than near the end of the season. New manager, get in time before next season, says Anis. Well, I would agree with that. If they're going to get rid of Jose, they've got to get it done, relatively before Christmas, so that there is a chance to get top 4. I mean, this season was about winning the title for Mourinho. It's not gone yet, but I think it's gone. I don't think you can lose to Brighton. I know it's only 3 points, but we will lose again. So I think the title's gone, and effectively, as long as you give a new manager time to get top 4, that's all Jose is going to deliver now anyway, I think. So, but if Mourinho beats Spurs, and he beats Burnley, and he beats Watford, and he beats Wolves, he's bought himself some more time, hasn't he? And the Brighton result will be forgotten. I think after a bad result, you basically, what Sir Alex used to do is, you have a bad result and then you go and win 6 or 7 on the bounce. So that's what Jose's got to do. If he loses against Spurs, it becomes a massive problem. And it's a tough game. Spurs have won 2 in a row. But I think we'll turn up. I think we will beat Spurs, I do. Conte is just another Mourinho, says Bio20. I don't like Conte. I don't like his style of football. It's better than Mourinho's, but I don't really like it. And again, why would we take another Chelsea reject? This has got to stop. Manan says that we are lowest in the terms of distance covered. It's obvious they're not playing for him. But that was the same last season. That's his tactics. He likes to sit back and be pragmatic. It's the most opposite Manchester United tactic I've ever known. And as I said, I've been looking at the live comments while we've been live. Name me another team in the Premier League that plays long ball. I can't think of anybody. There used to be Stoke. There used to be West Brom under Pulis. And whenever Sam Allardyce managed the team, they would as well. But I can't think of a team that plays long ball in the Premier League other than United, which is another embarrassing tactic. It really is. Farouk says, can we get Pochettino? Look, if United are looking for a new manager in the next 6 months, Zidane is free and he's won 3 Champions Leagues. Pochettino's won nothing and would cost 30 million to buy him out of his contract. What do you think our money-motivated club's going to do? Zidane. There's your answer. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone who's dropped a like on the video. We haven't hit 500 likes yet. I think it's been a fantastic video with lots of good comments from you lot as per usual. So please do drop a like on the video. If you didn't see our Spurs versus United preview with expressions and rants and bants and flex, it was a very, very funny watch. So give it a watch after this one. And also, if you haven't seen my video on the Goldbridge channel, it's called Goldbridge Livestream. Get over there. I put a daily 10-minute video up on there, and I really it's live and uncut. I just say what I think. It really did boil quite a lot of PISS. Goldbridge Livestream, go and give it a watch. Thanks everyone for watching. Tomorrow we'll be live just after 2 o'clock with Jose Mourinho press conference reaction. Very interested to see what Jose's got to say. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. Fantastic as per usual. I'm not talking about myself, by the way. I'm talking about you. Imagine if I was talking about myself. Arrogant prick.